Romans 8:15. For the Spirit that God has given you does not make you slaves and cause you to be afraid. Instead, the Spirit makes you God's children, and by the Spirit's power, we cry out to God, Father, my Father. Romans 8:15 is a powerful reminder of the relationship we have with God through His Spirit. It tells us that God's Spirit does not make us slaves who live in fear, but rather makes us His beloved children. When we accept God's Spirit, we are no longer bound by fear or feelings of unworthiness. We are no longer distant from God, as slaves might feel toward a master. Instead, we become part of His family, with the right to call Him Father. We can think about what it means not to be slaves. In many ways, fear can enslave us. It can control our thoughts, actions, and decisions, making us feel trapped and powerless. Fear often makes us feel distant from God, as if we're not worthy to approach Him, or as if He is far away from our struggles. The idea of slavery in this verse symbolizes a life of bondage to sin, to doubt, to insecurity. But God's Spirit frees us from this kind of life. We no longer need to be afraid of God, thinking of Him as a distant master ready to punish. Instead, we are invited to live in freedom, as children who are fully loved and accepted. Part of the verse speaks to our new identity. Through the Spirit, we become children of God. This is an amazing shift in how we relate to God. Rather than being afraid or feeling like we have to earn His love, we are reminded that we belong to Him. We are part of His family, and we can approach Him with the confidence and trust of a child calling out to a loving parent. The words, Father, my Father, express a deep sense of belonging and intimacy. This is not the distant, formal relationship one might have with a powerful figure. Instead, it's a personal connection where we can pour out our hearts to God, knowing He listens and cares for us like a perfect parent. When we cry out to God as our Father, it's more than just a title. It reflects a relationship where we are not alone or abandoned. Even when life feels uncertain or overwhelming, we can find comfort in the truth that God is always with us. His Spirit living in us continually reminds us of our identity as His children, giving us the strength to face whatever challenges come our way. This is a powerful message of hope. No matter what we have done or how far we feel from God, His Spirit brings us back into His arms, reminding us that we are His and we are loved. The Spirit also empowers us. This empowerment means we don't have to rely on our own strength to live out our faith or to overcome our fears. The Spirit of God is at work in us, helping us to grow in love, faith, and courage. It transforms us from the inside out, giving us the ability to live boldly as children of God. We are not just forgiven, but we are adopted into God's family, with all the rights and responsibilities that come with that identity. In the world today, where fear often dominates, fear of the future, fear of failure, fear of not being enough, Romans 8:15 is a reminder that we are not alone and we are not defined by fear. Instead, we are defined by our relationship with God. We are His children, and His Spirit is constantly reassuring us of this truth. We can walk in freedom, not because of what we have done, but because of who God is and what He has done for us. Romans 8:15 calls us to live as God's children, free from fear and full of trust in His love. It challenges us to remember that through His Spirit, we have direct access to God, calling Him Father with confidence and love. This relationship with God is not based on fear or distance, but on closeness, trust, and the security of knowing we are part of His family. As we go through life, this truth can give us peace, courage, and a deep sense of belonging.